This is going to be a tough one. Hi, I'm Matt, your editor, and let's just go straight to the review. And welcome to another edition to my Who reviews. This week it's Eaters of the Light. Okay, first off, I forgot to record this week's episode of Doctor Who, and that's because I had like a lot of work for FA Day going on, and unfortunately my family organised an outing yesterday, which I didn't know at all. I mean, they never tell me these things again. And unfortunately, I missed the first half of the episode by the time I got back. So when I got back, I obviously missed half the episode, so I decided to watch it live on iPlayer, which you can do. Seriously, I really need to move away. Plus, no Indiana Jones film. I guess that explains everything. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I had no anticipation for this episode. I mean, come on, Eaters of the Light? Seriously? I thought it was going to be, you know, like a standard filler episode, and I also thought, as it got closer, I thought maybe it's going to be another one of those episodes like The Girl Who Died, when it looked good, but it really wasn't good because the whole reason for the episode was just basically to center around this one actor or actress, and it's sad. First time watching it, I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, people seem to like this episode a lot, but for some reason I don't. I mean, I don't think it's great, but I'm afraid to say it's bad. I just wanted to make a review about how I thought about it, saying stuff like, I think this was the weakest episode of series 10. First time watching it's not as bad as The Girl Who Died, but since it was only a first reaction, I thought I'd give it another shot. So, second time watching it, here are my reactions. Plot of the Eaters of the Light. Historians have long speculated about the fate of this fearsome force which vanished almost 2,000 years ago, but perhaps they should consult Doctor Who to find the truth. The Time Lord and Bell visit ancient Aberdeenshire to solve this ancient mystery. The 9th Legion of the Imperial Roman Army vanished from records after they marched beyond Harraden's Wall and deep into the mists of Scotland, and were apparently never seen again. It is said that this episode is meant to cover up one of those historical mysteries. It's, you know, kind of like how they did the Agatha Christie episode, like Unicorn and the Wasp, which I think is an underrated episode. I mean, I liked it. I know some people don't like it, but I liked it. I mean, yeah, even though it was more like, you know, like a mystery story, it still managed to, you know, try and squeeze in, you know, the mystery of Agatha Christie, and in which, in my opinion, was done pretty decently, to be honest. So, as you can tell, I was pretty interested to see how they were going to do with that, even though I had no historical aspects or history on what this was about, but I was still keen to see what was going on. So as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the wibbly wobbly timey-wimey. Okay, let's start with the good. And the first thing I want to say about the good is that I do love the landscape of this setting. I mean, the landscape of Scotland with the hillsides and this, even though there's probably too much smoke. I do like the grey skies, the dim green colour and the wind blowing. I don't know why, but the feeling of watching this episode was kind of like watching an episode of Raven, the Dragon's Eye. For those of you who know what that show is, you have good taste. Or as the Doctor says, Scotland, it's meant to be damned. It's ironic coming from a Scottish actor. And then the next moment they find this vast landscape of all these Roman dead bodies. Okay, first off, how did they find the body? Where did they find the body? Where did it come from? But then again, that's pretty much what this whole episode is about. Yeah, I don't know how they found it, but it did give us a grim sight of seeing this field of dead Roman corpses. You can tell Capaldi really enjoys acting with children, and this series proves it. The pilot, Thin Ice, Knock Knock, and now this one. I do like the bit where he raises his hand in the air and he's all like, do you know what that sound is? That is the sound of my patience slipping away. There's also this nice joke where he mentions that you're all these three little pigs and he's got like a big bad wolf monster out there and you guys are in a house of sticks, which I don't know, I just sort of smiled. I mean, I didn't laugh, but I did smile. He also gives this message to all the characters, which I'll get to them later, about this message about, scared is fine, scared is human, but scared is not a plan. Which, yeah, I guess we probably need to know that at these days right now. And he also says to one of the characters, it's time to grow up. And since all the supporting characters are children or teenagers or young adults, it definitely shows what this episode was trying to come across. But my favourite moment with Capaldi and Bill in this episode is when Bill says, I totally found them, and he says, yeah, you totally did. he actually shook his head like that. That's Capaldi's acting at its finest. There's also this one line which he says, don't be brave. I can't stand brave people, and everyone's all like, yeah, that kind of means that he didn't actually like Clive since she was being all brave. Yeah, I have to admit, that was kind of uncalled for. Bill is curious for the Doctor to prove himself wrong by betting to find a Roman soldier who was meant to be destroyed, which I did like. How she mentioned getting an A star in class, and that made Nardo go, A star, really? I also like how she is curious about how the Roman clans speak in English, which, and she literally thinks telepathic feeling on that. Now, this is a companion who's done her homework. She knows what's going on. She doesn't ask too much questions. We've got ourselves a good companion. Man, the scene with Bill talking to the Romans on the ground, by far the best scenes in this episode. Any scene with Bill and the Romans, in my opinion, are the best bits of this episode. Whilst reading the Doctor Who magazine, I noticed there was a character known as a young 18-year-old Lucius. I thought, hang on, is this meant to be a young version of a historical figure? So I did a couple of research. So I thought maybe he was a Roman emperor when he was young, and then it's meant to be one of those inspirational scenes. But no, he's just some guy called Lucius, which also makes me the question, why did the magazine put down 18-year-old Lucius? This character Lucius is played by the guy who also played one of those scavengers from The Force Awakens, which explains how good he is in this episode. I like this moment where Lucius is saying, don't worry, you can stay with us, we'll be okay. And there's this moment where, he's raising his eyebrows, he's got his tongue, he's like this. And once again, we get another scene where Bill says, I'm not into men, I like women. And you got the usual stuff like, oh, okay, I don't know about that. Like, what they've done with this character is that, even though, usually when you get someone who says, I like this, sometimes you think, okay, and you back away. But this character, he's like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm okay with it. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. He also mentioned he likes men and women. So yeah, this series is actually updating itself a little bit. Seriously, I really enjoy the scenes with the Romans. The Romans are really, really good. I do like how the Romans and the Celts, I know they call them barbarians, but let's be honest, they're Celts. They try to work together at the end after the Doctor's speech about working together on one side. They hold the monster off until sunlight. Okay, I thought, okay, that's nice, but the problem with that was it was too quick. However, it ends up with the Doctor's, he says he has to stay guard the gate, which I first thought maybe that ties in with the finale, which is probably why we didn't see Capaldi's face on the page in the Doctor Who magazine. But no, the girl character, what was her name? Car. She decides to grow up and fight her fight, and the Romans join. Like the previous episode with the Colonel and the Ice Warriors. This is a good scene. But to me, I think the best moment in this episode is, you remember me saying in my previous episode, which I thought the only bad stuff in the episode was Missy, including Missy in the end of the episode, which I thought that was completely shoehorned in. However, with this one, Missy is actually much better in this. It's done much better in this episode. I really do like how the Doctor lets Missy hear the music and hear the music, and she suddenly seems to turn on. She's crying. The Doctor thinks that it's time to become friends again, but he still doesn't know. God damn it. Michelle Gomez, you've finally given me a scene in this series which I fully respect you. Well done. Good luck next week, and I wish you all luck. Now for the bads. For God's sake, BBC, stop filming in the dark. So this episode starts off in modern Scotland with, of course, some bad child actors. Well, not all bad. I mean, well, actually the boy was okay. He was just a bit stiff, but the girl, at first, she was so moany. He's like, no, I want to listen, no. I mean, yeah, that is a child, but come on. And then she literally stops to look for the music. I mean, and she just smiles and says, I can hear it. Seriously, if I was a kid and I could hear the music, I'd be afraid. And I would be a little more curious than just, I can hear the music, and then just walk off. And then we never see those kids again until the very end of the episode, where we just see the girl. The boy's gone. Just the girl by the stones, and she smiles after hearing the music. But second time watching it, I thought they were fine. The Romans I enjoy watching. The barbarians, not so much. We get this girl named Cara. She's the keeper of the gate. She's trying to be all big, tough leader. I'm not afraid of anything. But in truth, she's actually a coward, which, yeah, but to be honest, I hate this character. All she did was boss, weep, and moan. Nothing else. I mean, I did like how she had a good resolution in taking full responsibility and guarding the gate properly. But rewatching it again, I still don't care about her. Not until the climax. Is that weird? I know, wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Okay, first off, I did not know that the person who wrote this episode was actually a classic Doctor Who writer in the classic series. What was her name? What was her name again? From what I hear of what this writer has also written, like Doctor Who Survivor, which I'm guessing. So I thought if they're bringing a classic writer from the classic series to write for the current show, that might be good. And to be honest, the trailers made it look good, but in the end it's not great, but cool. I'm not saying it's a bad writer, no, because out of all the episodes we've seen in this series, I think this one has the stronger script. I mean, it's decent, I mean, it looks decent, but I think what makes this episode good is the writing. Bringing a classic writer of the series to do that is a nice touch, so the script was really good. Yeah. The monster of this episode is basically that creature from Hellboy. You know that little creature was on fours, it's got his tentacles on its back, whilst this one, it's on the front, it's all glows blue. I mean, in the blue tentacles, in the light, that is a very cool effect. And as far as CGI is going for this creature, it looks pretty good. We also find that this cave is an interdimensional temporal rift, like how the Doctor says, I've been there for 2 days, and then Nardo comments on, and 8 hours and 5 minutes, which that was a nice little joke. I did like how the portal was kind of like an underwater effect with the creatures spinning around in a circle, which should be the new hippo swinging BBC ident. I just wished it was explored more. Maybe have more scenes of them going into the cave and then come back as like 50 years later or something like that. Maybe see what the world on the other side looks. There's also this raven who talks. I mean, not literally, you know, it does speak like a raven. I did like that the series is going back to, you know, like when Matt Smith said, I speak horse, I speak baby. This Doctor speaks crow. I liked how Nardo is shocked to see a crow talk, crying duck, and I liked how they were following it. And then in the end, Car's brother, I think it was, said to the crow, her name was Car. And first time watching that, I was like, say what now? Car? Oh, I see what you're doing. And then Nardo says to the Doctor, the crows are not crying, they're remembering. And speaking of Nardo, okay, probably not his best episode, not as funny as before, but he still gave me the chuckles. Like the bit when they're playing the music in the cave, he's like, this is worse than jazz. We're all children, but we grow up to be adults. Well, most of us. And then Nardo's like, thank you very much. And he says, I'm not talking to you. And the first time watching it, some of the jokes were funny, and some of the jokes were not. Sorry, Matt Lucas, I still love you though. Missy, yes, I did say that I actually liked her crying scene at the end, but the more I thought about it, I think it might have been good if Missy was in this episode. I mean, yeah, she appeared at the end, but I mean throughout the episode. I mean, I think it would have been nice if Missy was involved in this episode a bit more, maybe a sort of test trial run. I mean, yeah, we're getting that in the next episode, but I think this would have been a nice test run for her throughout the episode, from where it goes she can act like she doesn't care, and then by the time it gets to the end with the music playing, she finally starts to cry and care. I think that would have been a nice improvement. Now for the conclusion. This was a really tough one to do. I mean, I know some people actually like the episode, and that's fine, but I want to like this episode, but a majority of the time, and I don't know whether I like it or not. I mean, yeah, there are some stuff I like, but I just don't think it's that great. On one hand, I think this was an episode, just a filler episode before we finally get to the interesting stuff in the finale. But I would also give this episode credit, given the message of having to take a stand or stand up to your fears, and it's okay to be afraid. But the entire story was just so bland. Well, on the other hand, I think there's a good episode in there somewhere, but I might actually need to rewatch it multiple times to understand or like it. If you were to ask me whether or not to watch this episode, I would only say watch the last couple of minutes, because the first time watching it, those are the only good things about this episode. And once again, I have to say, Luke Newman's episode was actually more enjoyable than this one. What is going on this year? Yeah, the premise was silly, but at least I enjoyed it. But unless the finale surprises me, I think the show needs to have done better. But I don't think it was as bad as The Girl Who Died. It does have its confusing moments, but at least the script was actually written well, so there's no need to blame the writer, and the shots were nicely done. But I would admit some of the scenes in the dark were a little too dark. The portal looked good. I liked seeing a sort of fish swimming effect in a circle. As far as supporting characters go, these guys were great. I mean, for child actors in this episode, they were really good in this episode. I just think maybe a few tweaks in this episode, maybe an execution or character, I don't know, it's fine, but it's not the writer's fault. But so how am I going to rate this? I guess I can give it points for the premise, I can give it points for the supporting characters, I can give it points for the decent CGI. I don't think it's great, so I think it's average. I mean, comparing to all the stuff I've given it a low mark, like Lie of the Land, Pyramid at the End of the World, and Smile, maybe this one is a little bit better. So I guess for now, maybe in the future I might change it, but for now, I'm gonna give Eaters of the Light 6 out of 10. Okay, now for the best part. Let's talk about the next time trailer. It does look like a test run episode of Missy taking charge. It looks like she's going to take charge of being the doctor, whilst I'm guessing the doctor is out doing his own thing, which I'm pretty sure it's gonna backfire by the end of the episode. But I'm still looking forward to seeing what happens. Bill in the doctor's medical outfit, the Blue Man returns, a space station with a black hole, the Cybermen. However, I will have to say, the doctor calling the Cyberman a Mondasian Cyberman? Seriously? You're really gonna call it a Mondasian Cyberman? Just call it a Cyberman! You've always called it a Cyberman. Since when did you ever call it a different name? You know it's a Cyberman. You know you're from Mondas, but they didn't call it Mondasian Cyberman. The point of Cybermen is that they want to make everything identical. That is the point of the Cybermen. Oh hi, Mondasian Cybermen. Here's Earthshock Cyberman. Oh hi, Iron Man Cybermen. Here's Peace World Cybermen. But then again, maybe that's just the trailer tricking us, so maybe they would have cut the tweaks off him saying, I'm guessing the Blue Man is actually a Mondasian. That's when he finds out that they're on Mondas, which I really hope this is not a genesis of the Cybermen episode, because some of you might already know that's happening in my upcoming F3 series, so this better not be a genesis of the Cybermen episode, because we've got too much of that. And you know what it is. I'm not gonna say what it is, but you guys already know what it is. But from what we got, I have to say, let's just say, I loved it. And I just want to say, of course I'll give him a kiss. See you next week, guys. Be sure to leave a comment, like and share this video. And if you have seen the episode, what did you think about it? And if you'd like to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Let's go.